What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. We've got a crazy awesome video for you guys. We posted a video a little while back and we talked about credit and credit repair, and a lot of you guys reached out. Like 10 to 15 people have reached out to me last week alone and said, hey, can I buy a house if I have bad credit? Hey, can I buy a house if I've got no credit? What happens if my credit score sucks? And so instead of me fielding all of those questions and trying to work my way through that, what we've done is we've met with a guy named Burros. He's over at Gershman Mortgage, and he's a credit repair specialist. So we're going to talk about how to build your credit, how to repair your credit. We're going to talk about Credit Karma some, so just hang in there. The big catch is it's 10 minutes long. Okay, and 10 minutes is a long time, and I'm really sorry about that, but it's jam-packed with good information. So use it, watch the whole thing, and at the end of it, if you'll do me a huge favor and share it. Share it with anyone you know. If somebody is having trouble with credit, please, please, please share it. This is not a comment, share, or anything. There's a lot of great information in here. Enjoy.
My name is Warren Burros, and I work for Gershman Mortgage. And I am a certified credit counselor, nationally certified, which is $1.50, and that certificate will buy me a cup of coffee about everywhere. But the deal is that gives us credibility in the information that we're going to dispense to our client. Credit is a very important aspect of our life today. It's probably one of the most misunderstood and the most misrepresented parts of our life that we'll deal with, but probably one of the most important. There's a lot of stories out there about credit, a lot of theories out there about credit, a lot of programs out there about credit. The one I'm fixing to talk to you about this evening is one that we use all the time. It's pretty simple and it works 100% of the time if folks stay with it. It's easy for people to understand and it's fluid. It'll work for anybody. The big passion I have for it is I have what you call a PhD in life. It's from the School of Hard Knocks. So some of this stuff I've learned the hard way. And it was such a realization when I was made aware of this system about 18 years ago for one of the guys I work for now, that I told him at the time that when I retire, I'd like to do this for folks. I made the retirement scene about 6 or 8 months and I started doing this. And I've been doing it 11 years. And a lot of people feel like that, well, your credit is just a credit card. Well, no, it's much more than that. It's more than a credit card. It's more than a car payment. It's more than a utility bill. Everything you do in life is pretty much driven by your ability to prove your cash worthiness or your credit worthiness. And there's so many things out there that people don't understand about credit. It makes it very difficult to get good information. And here's the bottom line. Credit is a view of your financial being for 7 years in the mortgage business, because we're fixing to loan you a lot of money for a long time. So that makes this program very, very good because we're going to go pretty deep. We're not getting you ready to buy a car that you're going to have paid off in 72 months. You're going to buy a house and you're going to be dealing with this bad boy for 360 months. And it's the American dream. And everybody should be able to achieve it. But there's some things you got to do, and you got to have some history. And there's where the problem is. There's where a lot of people get messed up and they don't understand what the history is. I'm here to tell you that there's some components in the system I use and it works all the time. Last year I was telling our guys we saved $8.8 million in business. What I mean by saved business that much, those were folks that were initially told they couldn't get a home loan because their credit was bad. There's some misconceptions about it. The score range is 300 to 850. The 3 major credit bureaus that are in charge of keeping your data and dispensing it are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. They all use the same system, the FICO system. I got a little analogy I'll share with you. It's a fudge recipe. They all use the same recipe. But what if you took that fudge recipe and you use some dark chocolate, some refined sugar, and some virgin vanilla? You're going to have a different piece of fudge than if you just throw the regular stuff at it, but you didn't change the recipe. So the credit bureaus kind of do that. They look at different information in a different way. There's 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Emphasis is on automotive type situations, motorcycle, boats, stuff like that, is more with TransUnion. Equifax is more of an appliance, like a TV, Best Buy, those kind of things, or Lowe's, or a washer or a dryer. But anything with a high dollar limit on it is going to be Experian. And that's not a stated thing, it's just what I see after 11 years of dealing with it. So that's one of the misconceptions. A good score to buy a home, usually there's scores out there of 580, but you're going to pay a price for that 580. You're going to pay higher interest. So we like to say from 620 up is a good place. People ask me all the time, what's a perfect score? Well, from my perspective and seeing how it interacts, 727 to about 803 is the perfect score, where that's where most folks are. But you can do just as much with a 620 or a 640 as far as purchasing a home. The don'ts in a credit, the things you don't do, first of all, you only need about 3 lines, and that's 2 lines of revolving, that old credit card, and 1 line of installment. There are things called non-traditional credit, but we prefer the other ones, which give your stability. They need to be at least a year long, okay? So those are the things you need. A credit card that's a $200 credit card, if managed correctly, will raise your score as much as a $20,000 credit card will. It's all about percentage of usage. So since 2008, 2012, all that mess in there, the percentages is the best way to move your credit. If you look on your icons like Credit Karma and some of those, there's always a percentage of usage icon. If you look at that and you keep your percentage of usage between 20 and 30% of your high limit, you will move your credit score in a correct manner. The way you can destroy your credit the best is be late. Late payments have a huge impact. Will generally keep you from doing very much for a year. If you're renting, that's going to be a negative input. If you got utilities, that's going to be a negative input. So those are the things that you need to think about when you're listening to people talk about credit. So credit is kind of an interesting thing. We try to help folks with it over here by a series of meetings. There's a couple of laws that govern the credit that you can read if you want. They're pretty intense. Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collecting Act. Those 2 acts will tell you exactly how you're supposed to do things. Here's a little known fact about credit bureaus. They work for the people that put bad information on there about you, but they're accountable to you. But they're only accountable to you if you do things in a prescribed manner. So that's why you need to talk to a credit counselor that knows what he's doing. Kind of a unique thing. I get pretty passionate about it. It's a pretty intense thing for me. I do it day in and day out every day, and I love it. I love helping folks with it. And I'm not necessarily soliciting business, but if you're in our program, it's free. So it's up to you. If you want to participate and you stay in it, then you're going to achieve your goal. We generally don't pay attention to our credit till we find out we can't use it because it's keeping us from getting something we want. Credit Karma is a good system. It's a system that's spontaneous to right now today. So whatever's daily available data to them today, that's what they're going to score you on. But they're also only using 2 bureaus. They're only using TransUnion and Equifax. So Karma's so sensitive and so narrow in the timelines, it's measuring you right there. Where something like what I'm doing is looking at how many times over the last 7 years have you went down to that 580. What I'm looking at you for and what you're going to go for a mortgage for is for long-term with the ebb and flow of life in it. Now with Karma, the big thing you want to watch with Karma, say you had a 610 at Karma last week, and this week you go in there, it's at 300. Karma's going to give you some red flags about what's going on. You want to pay attention to those. And if there's something serious going on, then you're going to have to get a hold of somebody like me or the bureaus. What they're grading you on is timeliness. They're grading you on balance control. They're grading you on what kind of credit you're using. If you're getting a bunch of payday loans and stuff like that, payday loans are not going to give you any credit unless you mess up. Every step that you've taken to improve that credit, whether you're buying a house or not, is going to make you look better to an employer, is going to make you get a better rate when you go borrow a loan from your bank or credit union. Plus, you're going to have some self-confidence. You're going to have some you got to keep your emotions in this also. You're making some big emotional victories when you turn this around. So that's some of the side benefits, I call it, that you're going to get that are going to make you handle situations stronger. So my point is there's no hole deep enough you can't get out of if you're willing to make the climb. It's like if you got a sore that keeps coming on your finger, you're going to just cut the finger off. You're going to try every daggum thing you can to heal that finger before you whack it off. The way just to get started cold is just call me and set up an appointment. We'll pull your credit and we'll show you where you're at.
How long does that appointment take?
About an hour.
About an hour. How much are you going to charge me for this appointment?
Nothing.
Not a thing.
Never. And this is going to get me in a lot of trouble. But no, it's free. The reason I do what I do is because my whole adult life, I chased this rabbit and never could catch him. I spent a lot of money, went through a lot of heartaches, failed marriages, lack of job promotions, and all kinds of stuff you don't even think about has credit to do with it. And the minute that it changed, my whole life changed. Last 18 years have been incredibly different, just from this one aspect of my life changing. So my mission is to correct that for as many folks that'll listen to me going forward. I work for a couple of gentlemen, Jerry Petrie and Jack Langley, that support that thought. So they allow me to use this platform to help folks buy an American Dream home. And no matter what station they are in life, if they're willing to do the work, they can purchase a home that they can afford. Well, I do this corny, but I have a philosophy in life that I've lived by. I'm 77 years old, so here's my philosophy of life. Be careful what you do today, because you're going to deal with it tomorrow.